This is RuskyEd, and it is time for Russian Nouns Review number 4.
You want to learn Russian, but you think it's too tough, too confusing, and all that stuff. Funny looking letters, what's that you said? It's time to learn Russian with RuskyEd.
This review lesson covers regular lessons 19 through 24. Here are the words for lesson 19. And you can see that the words for lesson 19 were stena, pol, potolok, shkaf, truba, and kamin. The words for lesson number 20 were komnata, vanya, spalnya, stolovaya, garage, and gostinaya. The words for lesson number 21 were mebel, divan, kreslo, zerkala, lampa, and kravats. And now for lesson number 22. The words were zadanya, corridor, lesnitsa, lift, escalator, and ubornya. And now the words from lesson number 23. The words are rastenia, deriva, kust, trava, sat, and ogoret. And finally we have lesson number 24, which contained these words: dvor, zabor, trotuar, shlang, kamien, and pisok. And so we have now reviewed the 36 words from the last 6 lessons. But that doesn't mean we can't review more words. Here are some more words that are relevant to houses, which is one of the main topics for the last 6 lessons. We have dom, dvir, krisha, truba, and okno. And check out this diagram too. And be sure to take advantage of the online lessons and the other activities available at RuskyEd.com. Well, my brother, you see, he has a son who's about 10 years old. And one night they were sitting around on the sofa, or the divan if you want to call it that, and watching the television. And on the television was this show that you might be familiar with called South Park. Now, one of the characters in South Park, of course, is Chef. And he goes around wearing this apron, and on the apron is spelled his name, Chef. Well, my nephew, he saw this word chef, and you see, my nephew, he only speaks Russian, and so he was a little confused because in Russian, chef looks an awful lot like this other word. In fact, if you take the lower bar off of the F, it looks a lot like the Russian G, in which case you have the word sneg. And so, of course, my nephew, being a Russian-only speaker, asked his father, being an English and Russian speaker, why does that man have snow written on his apron? And of course, my brother was a little bit taken aback at first. He wasn't too sure what his son was saying. But then he thought a moment, he said, oh, I see what you're saying. And then he explained the little problem with the English F and the Russian G and how they kind of look the same if you take the lower bar off the F. And then he explained that chef is a cook in English, and then it all made sense to my nephew, and that's how it went. You probably had to be there, but I thought that was an interesting little story and a strange little coincidence in some ways. We have now reached the end of the 4th review lesson, and so this is RuskyEd signing off now with Do svidanya!
It's time to learn Russian with RuskyEd.